Well, hello, friends. It's me, your favorite space uncle. Technically, I think I'm your only space uncle, but look, it still applies. Point is, it is time for a Neckbeard story. That's right, it is. From Reddit user Awkward Boheme, this is living with two neckbeards and a legbeard. Well, that's quite the combination, isn't it, kids? Let's get right into it and see what happens with this story, shall we? Hello, wonderful people of Reddit. Hi. I've been planning to make an account and post here for a while now, but life always seemed to get in the way. But now that I finally have some free time, I figured, well, why not? Just a quick cast list. Mike, Neckbeard number 1, tall, greasy, and hefty, and into anime. He was also so against dental hygiene that he wound up losing his teeth and getting dentures. Oh my god. Which he'd often leave in coffee cups, but that's all I'll say about that. Well, we're barely into this one. I'm already nauseated. That's a good sign. Self-proclaimed pro gamer, about 21 at the time. 21, and he already lost all of his teeth. Oh, that's bad. At the time of this particular tale, also dating Janice. Janice from accounting. Declan, Neckbeard number 2, bit shorter than Mike, frequented the gym, but refused to shower afterwards. Ew. He also had the signature Neckbeard, obsessed with Gotham. He's Mike's younger brother and moved in with us when their mother kicked them out. Generally a creepy person. Doesn't really make an appearance in this particular tale, but trust me, he's just as bad as the other two. Janice, the Legbeard of the story, tall and greasy, like her partner, and also had a lack of dental hygiene, though she hadn't lost her teeth yet. They were just yellow and hairy. I'm sorry, I got really nauseated when you said that. Just the idea of hairy teeth. Has a serious not like other girls attitude and smoked about 20 cigarettes a day. It's not an issue on its own, but when she smokes in the apartment with the windows closed, yeah, it's not pleasant. Same age as Mike. Carrie, best friend, taller gal, which she loves to annoy me about, and absolutely stunning. Not just saying that because she's my best friend. Theater geek, like myself, and my companion in the absolute hellhole that was our flat that we shared with the other three. She's also gay, which is important in some of these tales, because you know what creeps can be like. Unfortunately. 19 at the time. Myself, awkward theater geek, gay guy who's so pale and wears so much eyeliner that I could fit in with the Addams family. 5'3.5". Yes, Carrie, the half counts. Your narrator for this train wreck, also 19 at this time. We hadn't actually been planning to move in with Mike and Janice at first. Carrie and I had been planning to move out for college with two guys from our course, one of them being our friend Brian. Brian was friends with both myself and Carrie and the Neckbeard Bros, which is how we met. Anyway, Brian had a couple of family emergencies, which resulted in him having to drop out last minute, and, because the other guy didn't really know us that well, he decided to move in with another of his friends. I completely understand. I wouldn't want to live with two people I barely met either. This was when Brian mentioned that Mike and Janice were looking to move out of Mike's parents' home, and suggested that we maybe find a flat with them. Now, we knew all about the hygiene issue that these two had, but Mike was always complaining about the shower in his parents' house being broken, so we put the bad hygiene down to that. Didn't explain the lack of oral hygiene, but we figured, hey, maybe they'll be okay. Maybe we can politely convince them to brush their teeth. Plus, it's not like his teeth can get any worse, so we'll just move away if the smell gets too bad, I suppose. Besides, we were getting pretty desperate. We already put down a deposit for the flat, and we would not be able to afford the rent if it was just the two of us. So we agreed to share the flat with Mike and Janice. I mean, how bad could it be? As it turns out, pretty fucking bad. The pair were pretty weird from the beginning. For example, when they first came to have a look around the flat, they seemed pretty disappointed that there were 2 bedrooms. They joked about how fun it would be if we all had to share a room. Yeah, no. They also suggested at first that Carrie should share a room with Janice and Mike should share a room with me, despite the fact that they are literally a couple. Needless to say, we shut that idea down pretty damn quick. Completely understandable. To be completely honest, neither myself or Carrie were particularly excited to be moving in with these two, but, aside from their odd room ideas, they seemed harmless enough. Besides, we're desperate. And so, we began living together. We realized fairly quickly that their lack of hygiene went further than just personal grooming. Their room was a mess. Carrie and I made a point of establishing some boundaries straight away, one of them being that we would not enter each other's bedrooms without permission. To their credit, both Mike and Janice made a point of not entering myself and Carrie's room, for a while, and would knock on the door to get our attention. However, this didn't save Carrie and I from having to endure the absolute nuclear wasteland that was their bedroom. Every now and then, they would call us into their room to show us some YouTube video they found funny, or to make plans, or to ask questions. God forbid they actually leave their room and talk to us themselves. The room was, to put it lightly, a pigsty. Takeaway containers littered the floor with food spilling out onto the floor to rot. Unpacked boxes were piled up all over the place. Yes, they were still there after 2 months. The bed was always a mess and appeared to be covered in, bodily fluids. Sorry, I had to compose myself there. I felt the wave come out. This is like the 3rd time I've almost thrown up. This is a hell of a story. And the room, well, most of the flat, honestly, constantly smelled of smoke thanks to Janice's habit of smoking indoors with all the windows closed. There was also the underlying scent of stale piss, which honestly still makes me gag just thinking about it. Yeah. We found out later that Mike was often so reluctant to go to the bathroom and leave his games that he would just piss in bottles and leave them there until Janice got rid of them. You know, you would think after somebody who's done like videos on neckbeard nests and things like that I'd be used to this by now. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm fucking not. That's still really horrible. That's... bruh. What the actual fuck?
Stop it. Get some help.
Sorry for the disgusting visuals, but hey, if I have to deal with that knowledge, then so do you. Ah, the Moonhorse approach. I understand. However, Carrie and I figured out that if you open up every other window in the flat, light scented candles, bleach everything twice a day, and use a shitload of air freshener, then you can somewhat cover the smell that came from their den. We managed to get by pretty well for the first few months of living with them, ignoring the poor hygiene, of course, until Mike and Janice decided that we weren't just roommates. We're their best friends. Yay, lucky us. But not just any best friends. Oh no. Best friends that they wanted to bond with. See, when Mike and Janice decided that we had been getting closer, we hadn't, by the way, they had begun to inform us of their desire for a threesome/foursome.
Oh my god!
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. At first we sort of laughed it off, thinking they were messing with us, but oh no. They had several instances where they acted inappropriately towards us, and I'm not going to lie to you, Carrie had to deal with a hell of a lot more than I did. Janice started almost following Carrie around constantly. She started off just rambling about whatever anime or movie she was watching at the time, basically forcing Carrie to listen, but she moved on to more invasive topics. There were even points where she walked in on Carrie while she was in the bath to sit and talk to her. What the fuck? Our bathroom didn't have a lock, and the landlord was weird about the idea of us installing one ourselves. Every time we brought it up to him, he'd tell us that he was looking into it. Anyway, Carrie spoke to her about it several times and politely asked Janice not to bother her while she was in the bath, to which Janice responded, "Oh, it's not a big deal. I wouldn't mind you talking to me if I was in the bath." You're not the one being walked in on, dude. Seriously, learn some personal fucking boundaries. It got to the point where I had to sit outside the bathroom door while Carrie was in the bath just to stop Janice from barging in. That's disturbing. I didn't mind doing this for Carrie's sake, but I shouldn't have had to. Yeah, exactly. Anyone else would realize that barging in your roommates while they're bathing is completely inappropriate. There was also the time when they found out that Carrie is a trans girl. Mike made a remark that he'd be the best at pleasuring an oversized lady part, and decided to demonstrate what he meant by removing his dentures. I don't even have lady parts, but if I did, I believe they've just zipped themselves shut for eternity. Yeah, thank you for that. That's... Well, I'm horrified. How are you? Excuse me while I go and throw up. Oh, I'll hold the bucket. I think everyone knows how absolutely messed up that is. Like, why the hell would you ever say that to another human being? This comment created an extremely uncomfortable atmosphere, and Carrie made up an excuse to escape to our bedroom. After getting yelled at by both me and by Brian after I texted him about what happened, Mike sheepishly apologized, promising that he would never make those types of jokes again. Yeah, right. And Carrie accepted it. Not because she believed him, as I later found out, but because we really didn't have much of a choice. There were no other affordable places near our work and college that we could move to, and neither of us had the option of going back home. We also couldn't exactly kick them out, as their names were on the lease, and they'd been paying their fair share of rent. We were, in effect, stuck. Carrie has also recommended that I add in the Valentine story, as she's still pretty pissed off about it. Well, then you better tell us. Basically, Valentine's Day had come around, and Mike had been talking about having a romantic night in with Janice. Both Carrie and myself were single, and had decided to go out for a drink with some friends so that they might have the flat to themselves, and tried not to think about the cleanup that required in the morning. Alcohol helps. Anyway, long story short, I hadn't eaten much before we started drinking, and wound up getting drunk a lot faster than intended. When we gotten home, I was completely trashed. I'm a giggly drunk, though, thankfully. I feel that. And Carrie was pretty tipsy. She helped me sit down on the couch and got me a glass of water before deciding to get herself changed first before putting me to bed. Carrie told me that she had gotten her PJs on, walked back in the living room to find Mike and Janice sitting on either side of me. Janice was playing with my hair, something that normally comforts me, but not when a creepy Legbeard lady is the one doing it, and Mike was talking to me. Things like, "You're completely wasted, aren't you?" and "Can't handle all that drink," but in the same tone you'd use when talking to a child. Drunk me apparently found this amusing, and I just sat there giggling. Carrie wasted no time telling them that she had to get me to bed, dragging me off the couch and into our bedroom. She said she didn't know what it was, but something about the way they were acting really weirded her out. Yeah, me too. I can speculate, and it's not good. They also spilled sweet and sour sauce all over the living room rug. Not something you want to find out when you're heading to the kitchen in the morning with bare feet. Oh, there's only one way you knew that, huh? Anyway, this is getting pretty long, so I think I'll stop here. I hope you folks enjoyed. I really needed to vent. Wow. Okay, that is a hell of a story, and there's so much to unpack with this, isn't there? First off, it's amazing that they are some kind of strange disaster couple that found each other. They're so alike and yet so horrible. I don't really know how you do that, but I guess that really does drive home the point that there is someone for everyone. This is further proof, to go on a small side tangent, about how the incels are wrong, because if that can hook up with that, there really is just someone for everyone. Honey, it just takes a little effort, trust me. You'll find someone, because, oh dear Lord. The hygiene, the smell, the bottles, dear God, the bottles. I've heard stories of people doing that. Hell, I've even seen them because of the fucking pictures. But I can't imagine living with somebody who does that. And then, of course, we move on to the joke. And I use massive quotes, except you can't see me, but you know where I'm going with this. What kind of disgusting motherfucker thinks that shit is okay? Oh, just because you think you're charming? Motherfucker, she's not interested. She's never been interested. That was pretty clear from day one. Just unbelievable. And then, I guess, to really drive the point home, imagine thinking you're being suave and sexy and attractive when you make a comment like that, and then proceed to pull your goddamn teeth out of your fucking head. No. No, sir. That is not how any of that works. Incorrect. Please stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect basic life morals. You get the fuck out. And as for the Valentine story, Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think I know where that was going to, and I don't like it. It fills me with a very particular kind of rage. I have a rule. This is going a little personal, but this is a rule of mine, and I'm sure several of you can probably agree with this. But I have a rule that when it comes to actual physical intimacy, I do not do that while drunk. I don't. Especially because I'm with somebody that I really care about, so I want to be able to remember all of these things and enjoy them. But also because I know that it won't be nearly as good. I know that it'll be a fucking horrible nightmare. And my biggest fear is when the other person is. Not because, again, they'd be like me and be like, oh, I won't remember that. It's like, no, it's because that feels like you're taking advantage of someone. You already know that they're not in the right headspace, especially because you've been drunk yourself, so you already know what that headspace is like. So for these two to swoop in like a couple of fucking vultures and just try to coerce, and I use that in such a caring tone, don't I? Just the slimiest way of coercing. To the OP like that? No. No, man. You people are fucking foul. That is vile. And not just because you smell like piss and ham. Just extra disgusting, you know what I'm saying? This is horrible. But I will say, I checked the comments after this one because I was worried about OP and Carrie, and really hoping that this story has kind of a good ending. And I will say this, they do have to say that they are not living with those people anymore. But with every one of these things, there's good and bad news, isn't there, kids? The good news is they're not living with them anymore, according to their own comment. The bad news is it took 2 years. I imagine we're going to see a few more parts of this, and oh dear God, 2 years living with people like this? I'm surprised you didn't invest in one of those cattle prods. You know, just taser on a stick. And be like, back, demon! Shit. But thank you for sharing your story, OP, and thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I have a Ko-Fi and a merch store. You can check both of those out. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps keep the channel going. Every Saturday, there's a live stream where we read all kinds of weird things, and you guys get to interact. It's extra fun. I have a subreddit, as most people who do this do, r/Moonhorse Stories. That's me, baby. You can go post your own story or something that you think is interesting or just anything there, and I'll check it out. I also have a Discord. I always forget to mention the Discord, but there it is. It's a wonderful place where me and all my strange friends hang out. You should come join us. The links to all that and more are below this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.